In Las Vegas, rather, the Lakers hosting the Mavericks. Los Angeles sat lots of their rotation players, but this was the final preseason game for Cooperflag and the Dallas Mavericks, and they treated this as a dress rehearsal with the champs in the building here. Perk Cooperflag once again playing the point guard,
and snatching the screws out the rim. That's what you talk about taking off. This the growth right here, Malika. The patience on the low block with a smaller defender, getting down for the and one, and that was out of transition. Blocking shots. Look at him. Look at him sprint the floor.
Sprinting the floor here.
And shooting that tray ball with confidence.
And they're going to need him to hit that three for the floor spacing with this enormous lineup here.
So much depth.
Right here, the Mavericks getting out in transition. Cooperflag leaks out for the slam. He finished with 13 points, 5 of 11 shooting. The Mavs get the preseason win to close things out. So we're going to have to wait to see what Cooper's going to look like in the regular season. But we don't have to wait to go in the bonus on his preseason. So let's start with the good. Cooper's consistent scoring. He's got to double figures in all 4 games. And even though he only played 87 minutes, his output would be about 19 a game if he were averaging over 30 minutes. Okay? You got that? Now for the room for improvement. The spacing, a little bit of a question here for Dallas. Flag struggled from outside. He made just 4 of his 13 three-pointers, which is something to monitor heading into the regular season. But despite the mixed shooting numbers, he took care of the ball pretty well. He had 11 assists to 5 turnovers and went 3 games without recording a giveaway. Here's how Jason Kidd saw Flag's progress.
I think defensively is fine. I think offensively we can get a little stagnant because we have so many mismatches. And so to play one-on-one, and that's not who we are. We want to cut. We want to use the pass. And we just didn't do that in that first 6 minutes. He's got to keep an index of who got shots, what was the last shot, and that'll come with reps. But I think he's done an incredible job of handling the situation, of running the team. And the other thing that I think that is gone unnoticed is that his teammates enjoy him running the team.
Love that insight there from Jason Kidd. Along with Bobby Marks, Kendrick Perkins, and Boban Marjanovic, I'm Malika Andrews. Cooperflag has impressed everyone, I think, in these preseason games. He started the last 2 games at point guard over D'Angelo Russell here. But what we just heard, it sounds like Jason Kidd maybe hasn't completely made up his mind on where Flag fits in the lineup. What have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, I would probably give it an incomplete right now, just going back from Summer League to right now. I think the beauty of where Dallas is, as we've talked about their depth, it gives Jason Kidd so many different lineups to experiment. And I think the best thing for Dallas, don't be afraid to fail experimenting with lineups. That means whether it be starting D'Angelo Russell or starting P.J. Washington. I just go back to that Oklahoma City team that won the championship. Last year, Malika, they started 30 different starting lineups. And did you know the one they used the most didn't even start during the playoffs here? Certainly the Chet Holmgren injury played a role here. But yeah, I do like what I've seen with Cooper with the ball in his hand. I do agree with Jason as far as from a spacing standpoint. But that's figuring out who you are as a team.
Look, they're going to be one of the better, or if not the best defensive team in the league, in my opinion. Now, the problem on the other hand is they got to make shots, right? Anthony Davis, he wants to play the forward position. He's going to have to knock down and shoot threes at a high rate. Cooper, obviously, you highlighted that's room for improvement there as well. But Klay Thompson, P.J. Washington, they're going to have to knock down shots at a consistent rate, because even last night we saw in the game with the Lakers, the reason that they had trouble scoring is because JJ went 2-3 zone. He's like, y'all not going to live in the paint. Y'all got to make outside shots. So, again, yes, they're going to defend at a high level. They're going to get transition baskets. The concern comes in is when they get in the half-court set, can they make wide-open shots? Right.
When Anthony Davis is playing the 4, when he's playing the 5, you have a little bit more of that stretching the floor. But while he's playing the 4 here, Bobby, which we know is his preferred position, how do they maximize this lineup? What is this lineup at its best, knowing that we're not going to get Kyrie Irving at least for the early part of the season, if not at all?
Well, you know how you maximize it on the defensive end. I mean, did you see how big this team is last night when you basically had Cooper at point guard, who's 6'8", 6'9", and then PJ and the 2 7-footers with AD and Derek Lively? I think I think that will allow them to get out and run a little bit more, open up the offense here based on what they do on defense.
And defense is the vision, right? That's what Nico Harrison was preaching when he made the trade for Luka Doncic and brought in Anthony Davis. But at the end of the day, you're asking, although Cooperflag has been tremendous, he's been sensational in the preseason, you're asking an 18-year-old kid, the youngest player in the NBA, to come in, to play out of his normal position, to try organizing the offense and having the ball in your hands a whole lot more for a team that going to the finals isn't enough. You have to win it all. And that is a huge task to put on an 18-year-old shoulders. What were you doing when you were 18, Boban?
When I was 18, I played World Championship with Steph Curry. It was really long time ago. But people really don't blame. Like, when you have 18 year, you try to make mistake. You will make mistake. You always make mistake.
Yeah.
It's a part of the life. When you work, it's you make mistake. Everybody make mistake, and he's super young. I think they try to put him on a different position to try him what he can do, and he can do a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've seen that he can do a lot for a Dallas Mavericks organization that has a ton of expectations this season. It's just a Herculean task. So that's Dallas's side of this preseason tilt. As for the Lakers, we expect to see Luka in their last preseason game on Friday, but LeBron James has already been ruled out for the start of the regular season with sciatica on his right side. Now, the Lakers announced that he would be reevaluated 2 to 3 weeks from now, but the timeline for his return, it is starting to crystallize. So for more, we welcome in our senior insider, Shams Charania. Shams, what details do you have on when we could see LeBron return to the floor and what that process is going to look like for him?
Malik, I'm told LeBron and the Lakers are beginning to look at around mid-November as a realistic potential return and debut for him. October 30th is the soonest they're going to officially reevaluate LeBron James, but it's expected he's going to need some time, probably a couple weeks, 3 weeks after that point. And one thing to keep in mind here with this return process from injury is a source told me this week that LeBron will be taking a patient approach from the rehab with this nerve issue that he's had. And you think about the ramp-up period that he's going to need to get into basketball conditioning, to get into the proper shape that we're accustomed to from LeBron James, because this was not a routine offseason for him. He had this first nerve issue start to develop and occur in late July, early August, and so it's been really an uphill battle since that point. He's superhuman, we all know that, but he is about to be 41 in December, and he is in year 23, so expect some point in November, likely around that mid-November period.
Okay, mid-November is what we could be looking at here for LeBron James. Shams, we appreciate you. We'll see you a little bit later in the show. What you were just looking at on your screen, if we could put that back up, actually, it was the first 20 games of the Lakers season. So if the timetable would hold for that true November right here, LeBron could make his debut around the week of Thanksgiving. Los Angeles plays just 8 games against opponents who made the postseason in their first 20 this season, okay? So they don't have a horrible schedule, Bobby, to start off the year. Of course, what goes through my mind is LeBron James has made 21 straight All-NBA teams. It's something we haven't seen before, and I don't think we'll ever see again. But with him out until mid-November, what could be the biggest challenge facing the Lakers?
I think it's going to be offensively here. I think how do you replace a player that scored in the mid-20s consistently every year here? And when you look at what the Lakers tried doing last night is they basically have been trying to force feed Dalton Connect and trying to give him a bigger role here, and he has certainly been inconsistent. I think you know what you're going to get with Luka every night, and you do know what you're going to get with Austin Reeves. But it's who out of the role players, the complementary players, is going to step in that role. It might be by committee here, Malika, when you look at Gabe Vincent and Rui Hachimura and certainly DeAndre Ayton, Jackson Hayes, and Marcus Smart but I'm just concerned if you don't have enough offense in some of these games. There might be some games where you're basically going to have to rely defensively, and you might have to just muddy it up here for them to get by in these, this next month.
Bobby, you should have seen, I was hoping that we would just take Perk's face the moment that you said it's going to maybe some struggles offensively. What was the face you made? I think we need to show the people. Something like that.
Yeah, but he mentioned Austin Reeves, so I kind of went away from that face. But it's, hey.
I know what Perk. I know. I was reading Perk's mind. I hear you say, "Well, wait a minute. They got Luka on this roster.
And
he
Austin
can make
Reeves.
everybody look good."
But think about this, y'all. It's something that's trending in the basketball world, right? And it's the double bigs. right? You got double bigs up here with you on set, Malika. The Lakers, yes, they went out and got DeAndre Ayton, but is J.J. Redick going to play Jackson Hayes and DeAndre Ayton a lot of minutes together on the floor? We don't know, but probably not. But they're going to need to, because think about it. You go against a team like the Houston Rockets, you might be facing Şengün and Steven Adams. You go against OKC, obviously, Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren. Dallas with AD and Derek Lively. So they're still, in my opinion, going to have trouble in the interior. Yes, DeAndre Ayton is going to solve some of the problem, but with the trend of teams going with the double big lineup, that's where they're still going to have trouble the most in the interior.
But by the way, we have Luka too, and he's the beast. He can carry everything. No, but let's go be honest. I'm watching him in Slovenia team. I'm watching him I play with him. I play with him in Dallas, of course. And I watched him other day how he looked against Phoenix. Like he looked really good. Like how he moving, how he react, like how he enjoy, how he smile. He's the winner every time because we are friends. I know when we play some like small stupid games, he want to win every time. Never mind what kind of game is that. Like some stupid random game that nobody cares. He cares, he's a winner, and he can do it. And it's like this who he is. And they have good team to win the games.
The table is set. The table is set for Luka not only to put his name back in the MVP conversation, but also to go win the scoring title. The table is set for him to do it.
I have no concerns about what Luka Doncic can bring after what we've seen. And J.J. Redick has said that he expects this final preseason game on Friday to be a dress rehearsal for the Los Angeles Lakers. So they're going to play their guys. It's going to be as close to a sample. Yeah, as close to a sample as we're going to get in the preseason. AI? Junior made his preseason debut a little ahead of schedule here after that bout with turf toe against LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets here. Close game in the first quarter. Jalen Wells swings it to Jaren Jackson Jr., drives, drops it up for a nice little layup.
Nice little scoop left, quick left. I like that. Like this. Look, get your legs up under you. Been out. I like seeing Jaren Jackson Jr. out there. I like seeing this man, too.
Yeah, someone we're hoping who can stay healthy this season is LaMelo Ball, because when he's out there, he is box office. Jaren Jackson Jr. pulling up for three. Get you a big man that can stretch the floor, Perk.
He is one of them. One of the best shooting bigs in the league right after Karl Anthony Towns.
That shot, though, I mean, how does that even make sense?
It's just beautiful to watch.
A few minutes later, it up. Javon Small throws it up for Jaren Jackson Jr., slams it home. Midway through the fourth here, Ball corrals it, gets the steal, and then lobs it up to Brandon Miller. This is the connection that Hornets fans want to see. Looking at that one more time. Oh, the nutmeg!
That was good, yeah.
It's worth buying the ticket.
They do to me.
But
keep
you.
it quiet.
That's not nice. Well, seeing that LaMelo Ball crazy nutmeg alley-oop, it got us thinking, why don't we dive into his mixtape bag a little bit? Top of the top, LaMelo Ball. Let's go. Let's look at some highlights. We're going to start with top buckets. This is off-balance 30-footer to beat the shot clock.
Oof.
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 He's so excited when he's out there, Boban.
This is tough shot ever.
Off the spin. It should have been an and one, seriously.
Well, how about this mesmerizing one-legged step back?
It was a snatch back, though. It was almost like a sham guard with a step back off of one leg. It was something he created for sure.
We've shown a lot of threes, but he's got a game around the rim, too.
Yeah.
A little putback slam over Domantas Sabonis. All right, let's go to some top dimes. Let's start with a sweet behind-the-back look to Miles Bridges in the 2021 play-in tournament. Woo!
Nice.
That's coming from me.
Learn that from you?
Yeah. That's sick.
That behind-the-back thing is kind of what he does, though. He did it here, finding Mason Plumlee.
Ooh, that's
a little skip pass.
His court vision is up there with the best of them.
Yeah, he doesn't even need to look. And then this full court pass connecting with Bridges one more time on this one. Underhand.
It's tough. It's not easy at all.
Walking highlight.
But the confidence you got to have just to throw that.
He exudes that for sure. How about some top razzle dazzle? We're going to start this one with a steal. And then between the legs, off the backboard, lob to Montrezl Harrell.
I love that.
Could you top that lob?
Who?
Yeah.
Yeah. Back in my day?
No, right now.
Right now, your son's here. You can throw one up for you.
It's so creative.
Off the backboard's become it almost is. We see it. There was a week last season when we saw it all the time. Woo-hoo-hoo.
And that was last night.
Yeah, that nutmeg. We might have to recreate that with you two in studio. LaMelo Ball, though, incredibly talented, right? It's just his availability. That's it. That's really dampened the start to his young career. He became the third player in Hornets history to average 25 points a night, but he's only played 47 games last season. And overall, he's missed 169 of a possible 400 games in his career. And we were talking, Tork, you think this is a pivotal year in LaMelo Ball's career with Charlotte?
I do. I think, this is going to be one of those years where he needs to get them into the postseason. If they don't, then they need to sit down at the round table, and figure out if they need to part ways. But let's live in the moment. Mm-hmm. And the moment is we're watching a box office talented young man in LaMelo Ball, right? Look at his numbers last year, 25 points per game, around about 8 assists. Here's the thing. He has to be a better defender, right? Like averaging a little bit over three fouls a game. The only two people that were worse than him was Karl Anthony Towns and Jaren Jackson Jr.
Bigs,
right? And so, so as a leader, the guy that's the franchise player, you have to take ownership and you have to defend, right? And the rest will follow. We know he could do everything else. And last but not least, you talked about it, the availability. Being on the floor, being healthy. Some things you can't control, but some things you can control, right? How many times are you in the gym? How many times are you actually doing the correctives right before the weightlifting, right? So, again, the sky's the limit for this young man, but I believe with him and the Hornets, as far as their relationship, it is also on the clock. And with the East being wide open, they need to at least get in the playoffs, and it might be through the play-in.
I want to add something.
Go ahead. We want you to say so.
But the point when I say, he's so popular to the kids, every single kid asks me, are you met LaMelo Ball? Every single kid, all over the world, everybody going, I play in China, I was in Serbia, I was Istanbul. Everybody asked me the same question, about him. LaMelo Ball, it's, I think, fan favorite, kids' fan favorite, and he's my favorite too. Yeah. I like when he's on the court playing and have fun. It's amazing.
Same thing with me. I went to speak to a class of, little kids, elementary school kids, and the first question I got, do you know LaMelo Ball? His popularity is amazing. Boban, I have a quick question for you.
Quick question?
Yeah, quick question. So my hands to Boban's hands, if we take his camera 2 here. Kawhi Leonard's are about where?
Well, it's here.
Kawhi Leonard is about there. So, all right, we think of Kawhi. That's insane. Let's talk about Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers here. They're facing the Kings in Sacramento, and the Claw has been, he has looked good this preseason, and he told me that he feels good as well. Kawhi, coming off the screen, hits a little mid-range jumper perk.
His game mimics MJ for a reason. That mid-post area is dangerous. And who is that? The senior citizen, CP3. I see him with the low little fade.
And they have a tough 10-man rotation. I know you don't need all 10 in the playoffs, but man, CP throws the lob up to John Collins.
One of the best to ever do it.
Collins, 24
there
points
you go
in
again.
this one.
Look at the footwork.
Drains the jumper. He had 15 points in this game.
The fact that he's playing preseason is enough, Malika. Says a lot about how Kawhi is feeling about this season.
This team has options, this team has depth, and this team has James Harden with a really nice find there to DJJ with the finish. LA went on to win this one, and Kawhi Leonard told me he feels good right now. He's been more active this preseason than in recent memory. He's played over 27 minutes in the game against the Kings on Wednesday night. That is his most perk in any preseason game since 2018, and that was the start of his lone year in Toronto, where he led them to a title. Mark it, October 16th, 2025 perk. I am excited for. We will see Philly stars. It feels like it's always a developing story, but we're developing again. We don't have the graphic to go with that. So Paul George has been working to come back into form after having arthroscopic knee surgery in July. And Nick Nurse said today that PG participated in a limited 5-on-5. The last 2 practices, that's reignited the question, when will he be available for Philadelphia? And when we have questions, Shams has the answers. The city of Philadelphia is waiting. Shams, when will Paul George be available this season?
Malika, I've been talking to people in Paul George's camp, and I'm told that it is not expected that he will be suiting up for opening night next Wednesday in Boston. I am told, though, that he is making significant progress after having off-season arthroscopic knee surgery, and a return, a debut, should be shortly into the regular season. He still has some check marks he has to hit from his rehab process. Because remember, Paul George never got right last season after having a hyperextended knee. He had multiple other knee injuries in the preseason, early in the year. And every time he really rushed back because of not only the Sixers' start to the year, the other injuries this team had, Joel Embiid, other players. That was his first season in Philly as well. So Paul George never had the chance to be fully himself, fully healthy. And that's why being back exactly when he feels like he can be comfortable and sustain his health, that's been a big part of all of this, to not have a repeat of last season. So he's feeling better and better each day, each week, but the Sixers know they need Paul George to be Paul George, and so if it takes him some more time, he'll have to do that.
Yeah, a little bit slow and steady here for Paul George, an opportunity he really wasn't afforded last year. You mentioned Joel Embiid. We're still waiting to see his preseason or season debut. What more can you tell us about when we should expect maybe to see the big man back out on the floor?
Look, the Sixers are hopeful that Joel Embiid can play Friday in their preseason finale, and as well as opening night next week in Boston. But like a lot with Joel Embiid, it is day to day. Every single game status for him is based on how he's feeling at practice, at shoot around, how his body is holding up day to day. And so that's Joel Embiid's status. A guessing game with Joel Embiid is something, obviously, a lot was done even internally in Philadelphia last year. So right now they're taking it day to day. There is a lot of hope, though.
Okay, still hope that we could see Joel Embiid, though, as soon as even the preseason. That's something that we didn't feel like we would be saying even a week or two ago. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. The Philadelphia 76ers will face the Boston Celtics on opening night. So let's stick with Boston. That's where they took on the Raptors last night. Director Matt, let's go to the highlight, please. Derek White was white hot last night.
He was, and that's why people always say he is not a role player. He is knocking at the door, being an all-star caliber player, and he does so much.
This was a little bit of an anxiety-inducing moment, though, for Celtics fans here, because Brown jogs back in transition, eventually grabs the back of his leg. He went to the locker room. He didn't return in this game. R.J. Barrett finds Emmanuel Quickly for the corner three. Quickly and Joe Mazzulla having a little conversation after that shot. Just a friendly discussion.
You gotta know Joe, bro.
Boston led by 2 at the break. The fourth quarter here, Anthony Simons kicks it to White, who drains the three. 33 points for White, and guess who's loving it? Jason Tatum. Boston went on to win this one 110-108. So, Perk, when we look at a successful season for Boston, and considering the way that Jaylen Brown exited that game, we should mention that Joe Mazzulla said that he believes he is going to be just fine. So, Boston fans, you can exhale, not another injury right now to add to the injury report. But when you look at a successful season for Boston, this is not a team that really, under Joe Mazzulla, their identity is not losing. What is a successful season for them?
Just making it to the playoffs, and I believe that they will through the play-in tournament. They have enough experience. They have guys that could go off on any given night. And if I'm the Celtics, if I'm Joe Mazzulla, the message that I'm preaching in that locker room is we want to protect home, even throughout the course of the season. Boston is already a tough place to win in. You have guys that, could fill up the stat sheet. And, again, protect the crib, win enough games to Tatum get back, and you'll be just fine. But Derek White, Anthony Simons, Peyton Pritchard, all guys that could give people work on a night-to-night basis.
And we saw that last night from Derek White. But for the Celtics, just like me when I'm trying to decide, should I have a salad, should I have a sweet treat? It's all about balance, right?
A sweet what?
A sweet treat. I always want a sweet treat at the end of the day, Perk. A little scoop of ice cream and a brownie, but we're getting way off track here. For Boston, the balance is looking at success this season versus what does a successful future look like. Bobby, how do they weigh those two things?
Well, I say this tongue-in-cheek. A successful season, of course, would be doing what Dallas did. You make the play and you lose
right.
and you get the number one pick.
Just
How about that,
make that
right?
happen.
That's like trying to finding a needle in a haystack. I think a successful season as far as what Perk said, as far as trying to make the playoffs, but also being in a position when Jason Tatum eventually comes back from that injury to be in a position to compete for a championship right where they left off when they lost to New York in that second round series here. And how do you do that? Is it with Anthony Simons' expiring contract? Is it development within? I do believe this team has enough scoring to compete with teams this year, but I do think you have to be in a position when Tatum comes back, whether it be sometimes down the road this year or next year, to be as one of these top 3 or 4 teams in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, and that's going to be a balance.
It is going to be about. I'm so sorry, Malika, but it is burning me up. I hate to do this to the producers, but I just got to get this off my chest about this Paul George situation.
Oh, we're going all the way back. All right.
Because that signing is on the verge of being one of the worst signings in NBA history. $200+ million. It is time for him to step up. I know he can't control health, but he has to be available. 35 years of age. Damn it, it's time for you to show up and show out. Again, you're looking at what Philadelphia did, giving him 4 years, something that the Clippers did not want to do. That's why he's not in the Clipper uniform. The Clippers are having success without him. It's time for Paul George to rise to the occasion and produce. This was on my heart. I couldn't let us go to break without me getting this off my chest.
No, I appreciate your honesty,
Sorry.
Perk. And just to give everyone a peek behind the curtain, when Shams was talking, Perk is sitting here over to my left, and he looks at me and he goes, as in, can I say something? And I'm looking at the rundown saying, we got to move on. So, Perk, I appreciate you getting that off your chest. Are you good?
I'm good.
Okay, looking at the East odds, Boston, one of the teams with recent success, but without Tatum, they now have the 7th best odds. And you don't even see the 76ers until after the Pistons, right, on this list. Everyone chasing the Cavaliers, who have the shortest odds, followed by the Knicks, fresh off their first conference finals run in 25 years. So high expectations for the New York Knicks this year and returning their franchise cornerstones, but they're playing a little bit differently. Mike Brown, he breaks down the Knicks 2-man game between Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns with Tim Legler in our Coach's Corner.
Let's get into the film now. We're talking about these guys, and I know, look, you haven't obviously been there to implement everything you're going to run, but we know where the talent begins with this roster, and it's a 2-man game with Jalen and Karl Anthony Towns. Just talk us through some of the things that you're envisioning and why it's exciting for you to maybe get this kind of opportunity to coach these guys.
Yeah, I mean, this is simple little side pick and roll or step up pick and roll to a certain degree. Pause it right there. You have to make a choice. You got a 7-footer and cat popping that shoots the 3 like the best of them in the league. And then you have a point guard in Jalen. If you allow him to get to his spot, it's over. So you got to make a decision. Do you switch this and put a smaller guy on cat? As you can see, the smaller defenders closing out to him, you can easily shoot over him. Or do you stay at home? And this time they decide to switch it. And Cat needs just that quick to be able to get that shot off, and it results in a great look from 3.
One of the subtle things here you see Jalen do at the beginning of this, he's so good at this. When he first comes off of this, you see how he gets Thompson on his back then just keeps him there, and he freezes Duran by doing that because Thompson can't get around him. And to me, like, that's the kind of nuance that creates the extra time for Cat to have this space. Another version of this 2-man game. You take it over the side, pick and roll, empty out the side. Jalen this time decides to take that read for himself. So just talk us what you think he's seeing here and the way this set is constructed.
This is beautiful right here. If Duran doesn't stay with Cat right here, they're in trouble. So they got to do it either this way or they got to switch it, because if Cat pops, nobody can rotate to him. You know, the weak side is overloaded with 3 guys. That's too far of a rotation to try to get the Cat and try to help out. They decide to stay at home. Any pick and roll situation, if you have a crafty ball handler like Jalen, he's going to be able to create some sort of advantage when he comes off. And now they're in a predicament. There's nobody in front of him to stop the ball. Duran just knows that if I go back in front of Jalen, Cat's popping wide open for a 3, and so Jalen just makes the right play. He just plays, great basketball. He gets to his spot, gets that left-hand floater, and it's a wrap.
The gold in Paris last year under head coach Steve Kerr, but USA Basketball has called on a new voice to lead the Americans through the next World Cup and Olympics. And the new head coach of the U.S. men's team joins us now, Eric Spoelstra. Congratulations, first and foremost, on this huge new role. Really excited to talk to you a little bit about it today. You're preparing for this role at a time when the competition globally has never been stronger. So what's the first order of business when you're trying to build this team?
Well, first, thank you so much, Malika. It really is the honor of a lifetime to be a part of USA Basketball and to represent your country. I feel very fortunate to have been involved with the select team in 21 with Coach Pop and Jerry Colangelo, but then also the last 2 summers in the World Cup and the Olympics. These are life memories and basketball experiences that you can't really recreate. And that's what makes this so special. You have a pride for your country, a pride to represent the country. There's a history of USAB that you have to embrace. And that comes with expectations, pressure, the responsibility. That's all of it. And there is a culture of service and sacrifice that you raise your hand and you say you want to be a part of it. And I just am very, very humbled to be a part of it. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. And look, the game is in a beautiful place right now. It's where it should be.
Yeah.
And this is the way it should have been for several years, where great players and teams can come from any country in the world, and the competition is fierce. So FIBA basketball is slightly different. It's not the NBA. There's slightly different rules. Three-point line is different. There's no illegal defense. It's officiated slightly different. It's a 40-minute game. It's a single elimination, tournament. All of this makes for an exhilarating experience. It can be harrowing at times, but that's what USAB embraces, is all of that experience, all of those experiences. And, as the head coach moving forward, I take that responsibility very seriously.
I love that you said that this is exactly where basketball on the global stage, exactly where it's supposed to be. I think that's right. And never say never, but it's likely, right, that LeBron, Steph, KD probably won't be a part of this 2028 team. The roster could be very different. So what does it look like, your criteria, when you're choosing players for those different rules that you mentioned?
We have time to figure it out, and Grant Hill has a tremendous vision for this program, but it will become a call to action, for the best and the very best of American basketball players to raise their hand and say that they want to be a part of this program moving forward. It will be a slightly different team, likely, but we also need players that have had experience in the tournament and FIBA basketball, which is slightly different. We do have time for that, but Americans take a lot of pride in this game of basketball and the success that we've had with USAB over the years. It'll be more competitive, and it should be, but the type of players that you want to be a part of the program want that pressure and want those kind of expectations.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if 43-year-old LeBron James picks up the phone, someone you have a lot of history with, and says, hey, coach, put me in. I mean, you don't say no, right? You leave that roster spot open for him.
All of it is surreal.
Yeah.
The sacrifice and the service part of it is unique. I think it is important that we were assistant coaches, and we're able to experience FIBA basketball. Players and star players come in and play a different role. It's a slightly different game, and I love that aspect of USAB so much, is that you'll see things that wouldn't normally happen in the NBA, and that's because you have a pride for the country, pride for the USA across your jersey. It's a shorter sprint. It's not a marathon, and it really is for a common goal. To come back with a gold.
Coach, one player that didn't play in Paris but certainly impressed a lot of players when I was talking to them, he was on the select team, was Cooperflag. When you talk about guys raising their hand, what impression did he make on you during those workouts?
Well, the select team has an illustrious history and legacy of its own, right? Going back all the way to the Dream Team. And so those select team versus USA team practices and scrimmages are legendary. And that was my first time seeing him in person. He had a great competitive spirit. That's what you noticed more than anything, more than any kind of skill level or tactics or anything like that. You want to have players that have that competitive spirit that, the history of our program have had teams and players of that kind of have that kind of intangible.
Coach, you have a very unique opportunity that not only are you coaching FIBA and the Olympic team, but you're doing it on the U.S. soil. You're doing it in Los Angeles. Kara Lawson told us she's already said no more tickets available. She's already been hit up by all of her friends and family. Are you already shutting off that valve?
yeah, the expectations will be monumental, right?
Yeah.
And that's when I say you have to find people that want that and embrace that kind of pressure. It'll be probably pretty crazy for everybody in terms of tickets and all the moving parts and everything. But I also want to say too that I want to honor the Hall of Fame coaches that have come before me, but also to my boss and greatest mentor in this business, Pat Riley. He had his greatest success in LA, and he's always taught me to think symbolically. And when he first started telling me that, I didn't know what he was talking about. Well, I think there's some symbolism in here that I want to honor him in LA and honor all the other Americans, that see our team eventually, that it can be a team that everybody takes so much pride in.
See, you never know what the universe has in store for you. That definitely feels like it's a purposeful, full circle moment. Coach, the USA pin looks great on you. We can't wait to watch you this season and also with Team USA. Thank you so much for the time. Appreciate it, and congrats again.
All right. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much.